once you start making like maybe 2 or 3, I made 2 or 3 purpose, this person needs a doll, here's a doll for them. And then it was, I can go out and like make little superhero dolls or businessman dolls, or I was going to make a whole range of Belfast dolls for all the different people that I would see on the streets but didn't really know. So I had this whole idea of a whole population of dolls. All of a sudden the cult leader or god in me started jumping around, and elephants, I got obsessed with elephants. And once you start making a few, you're like, oh my gosh, I could make this and then make this, and then you just cut everything out, and then maybe a few weeks later then you sew it together, and a few weeks later you stuff them all in, and then like a few weeks later or never at all you put faces on them. So it's just this little world that starts to grow up, and maybe it's not a good thing because you're just thinking about dolls that don't really exist, but you start thinking about them as real people with real personalities that talk back to you when you talk to them. So
And were you doing this as just a hobby?
yeah, I would say it's a hobby, and it would come and go because during student life, PhD life, and part-time job life, sometimes there's no free time, and other times you just even if there is no free time, you make it because it's thinking about serious issues kills you, or having all these expectations and pressures. So sewing would be a huge relief. Like I would get home at 1 or something from either writing dissertation or working at the cinema, and then be like, sewing machine, no thinking, no talking, just the sound of the needle going up and down, and then these things coming to life right before your eyes. It's just this kind of hypnosis thing that turns on. So I started sewing young because my house is full of sewing machines. We always had not 1, not 2, not 3, like 5 sewing machines around the house. Basically, whenever an older female relative would die, we would inherit like their boxes of fabric, their sewing kits, their scissors, their sewing machines. There was just always stuff around. So I started off when I was like 12 or 13, when I started to want to make my own clothes and bags. I was a really violent sewer, like, and needles would just crack beneath my fury. So yeah, I started sewing clothes, all kinds of things that would fall apart while I was wearing them down the street. Or just like they were all like lumpy and misshapen and really unfortunate looking things. But at least it got me into it, and I had no shame for some reason. I think it was a good part of my teenagehood. I would wear these just homemade, bizarre monstrosities, and I thought, yeah, screw you, I'm wearing it.
And have you ever given up on a doll while you've begun it and it just isn't going the way you'd like to go?
I have like smatterings of doll corpses, or sometimes they just come out looking really horrible and whacked out, and you can't really save them. Sometimes I've torn the faces off after I put them on, because the faces are always a surprise, even if you plan it. When you actually sew it, sometimes they're very disturbing. With these huge misshaped eyes and a big nose and bright colored lips, and you just think no one could actually look at this and even find it remotely attractive. So then it's just get the scissors out and snip, snip, there goes the face, off with it.